What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with another video. Now, Money in the Bank is over, but there's plenty of fallout as SmackDown features the trial of the Tribal Chief following Roman Reigns' pinfall loss in London. Join us now as we look at this week's edition of SmackDown, as well as the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including Triple H wants to force him out, Vince McMahon was at SmackDown, what was shortened or axed at SmackDown, fans get Roman Reigns angry, a popular WWE star wants to return, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Also check out our new channel, Wrestlelamia Shorts. As always, we won't recap the matches, but just look at the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. As always, we start off with the good as number 1, the trial of Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns no longer has the Usos on his side, but the Tribal Chief is more dangerous than ever, as seen in last night's The Trial of the Tribal Chief segment. Last night's opening segment did everything it was supposed to do, show Roman's craftiness, tease Solo Sikoa's conflicted loyalties, and build things for Jey vs Roman at SummerSlam. Number 2, Women's Money in the Bank intrigue begins. It's great to see the WWE hasn't wasted any time building the intrigue surrounding Io Sky's Money in the Bank briefcase and the constant threat of her cashing it in. Most of the previous women's winners cashed in their contracts the same night they won them, which made for exciting moments, but they also denied the fans of a mystery of when a briefcase holder might show up. While Io didn't get to cash in a briefcase, her attempted added tension to the Asuka-Bianca Belair-Charlotte Flair rivalry will likely play a role in their rumored triple threat match at SummerSlam. Number 3, Grayson Wallace swims with the big fish. A sensational segment with Grayson Waller as he traded words with Edge and then battled the Rated R superstar in an action-packed match. While Edge won, he did give the rub by noting after the match that Waller held his own. That was a good what about the bad as number 1 LA Knight digital exclusive. What? As we'll see later, last night's show featured some major cuts, including a segment involving LA Knight and Hit Row. Is the WWE trying to cool off Knight's heat and get the fans to cheer someone else, or was this just a case of too many segments and not enough time? While the WWE's digital exclusives are a little consolation, at least fans could see just how over Knight is. Number 2, AJ vs Karrion Kross, so very tired. AJ Styles vs Karrion Kross is another potentially powerful feud involving Karrion Kross that crashed on Takeoff. The program has been an afterthought on SmackDown. Granted, it may not be big enough for a PLE in the WWE's eyes, but it's been treated as an afterthought on SmackDown. Last night's short match and the WWE's failure to show Kross's entrance are 2 more reasons why Kross isn't getting any kind of push. There was nothing downright ugly, as time was definitely not on the WWE side as its segments ran long, leaving little time for anyone who was a member of the Anoa'i family. Of course, we'll have more on this in the news. But what do you guys think of the SmackDown last night? Let us know in the comments down below. Now let's move on to the news. Our first story looks at Triple H wants to force him out. Atop of today's news is a wild rumor concerning Vince McMahon's increasing presence in creative and efforts to stage an intervention to send Vinnie Mac packing. There have been increasing reports of Mr. McMahon taking a more active role in creative, and according to some reports, it's only going to increase once the merger with Endeavor goes through. Rumor has it that McMahon's ever-growing presence in creative has brought back many of the problems associated with his past role running creative, that being last-minute rewrites, changes to long-term plans, and uncertainty about what to expect. However, there was a rumor making the rounds this week that Nick Khan and Triple H were planning an intervention of sorts to force Vince to step back from creative. If so, this would be a major story as both the WWE president and its chief content officer are sticking their necks on the proverbial chopping block by daring to raise the ire of the WWE's top dog, and we don't mean Roman Reigns. However, a report from Fightful contradicts this, at least based on the sources it spoke with. Based on what we've heard so far, no such meeting has occurred or is planned. Vince McMahon is in a position to where such a meeting could only be a recommendation. Khan and Triple H cannot force him out. When we asked a WWE official about the rumors, they claimed that there was no truth to it whatsoever and they dismissed it as silly. It's worth noting that for quite a while, WWE higher-ups previously dismissed the idea of Vince McMahon returning to creative for quite some time. Yeah, we know where that went. Vince McMahon returning after retiring. Fans familiar with Vince McMahon's business practices were skeptical when Vince returned to WWE but promised to stay out of creative, with fans stating it was only a matter of time before Vinnie Mac stepped back into creative. That seems to be the case and there's no sign of it letting up. Next up, big things ahead for a SmackDown star. Grayson Waller has been in the spotlight lately, and for all the right reasons, whether it's interviewing SmackDown superstars on his Grayson Waller Effect talk segment on SmackDown, interacting with John Cena at Money in the Bank, or wrestling Edge. Apparently that's just the start, as WRKD Wrestling is reporting. If it wasn't clear from his work with Cena at Money in the Bank or Edge on SmackDown, Grayson Waller is being set up for a big future. Many in creative feel that he has the tools, both wrestling and on the mic, to be a future main eventer for years to come. Waller recently dealt with a broken leg, but he appears to be 100%, and it'll be interesting to see what's next for the awesome Australian. Next up, Vince McMahon was at SmackDown. In other Vinnie Mac news, a PW insider is reporting that WWE chairman was backstage at the Gardens. While word has it he's largely been making changes to WWE's creative plans remotely, the show took place in Madison Square Garden, the mecca of professional wrestling, and New York City isn't far from Vince's stomping grounds in Stamford, Connecticut, so put the two and two together. Next up, several SmackDown segments shortened or axed. Now, as mentioned in our SmackDown analysis, there weren't many segments on the latest Blue brand, leading to questions about whether Mr. McMahon made some last-minute changes. While we don't know how much McMahon changed from the show, Better Wrestling Experience reports that changes were made due to the number of segments planned for the show and the Bloodline segment running long. What a surprise. I literally said no time to fill in all of this in 2 hours. 20 minutes went to 40, and opening ate a lot of time. Things will get squeezed and women's segment might get called off. We'll update. But did you guys care that some of these segments were shortened or cut? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, Karrion Kross caught in the creative crosshairs. The WWE's edits didn't help Karrion Kross, who lost to AJ Styles in a match that barely made it 6 minutes. Not only that, but WWE aired Kross's entrance during a commercial break. At this rate, how long will it be before he's wearing his helmet again? Next up is Edge reevaluating retirement. Could Edge stick around in the WWE a bit longer? Well, the Rated R superstar seems to have toned down the talk of an imminent retirement, as at one point Edge said he wanted to wrestle his last match in Toronto. However, Edge shot down retirement talk during his appearance on the Grayson Waller Effect, and now some fans believe he could stay in the WWE a little bit longer. This is one situation fans will have to monitor, as AEW will undoubtedly be interested in signing Edge, who could work alongside his former tag partner Christian. Next up, fans get Roman Reigns angry. Roman Reigns got a less than friendly farewell from fans at Madison Square Garden after SmackDown went off the air. A video has surfaced of Roman getting booed by fans, and according to a report from Ringside News, Jey Uso could be seen staring down Roman Reigns while the latter stood on the entrance ramp. Reigns then headed backstage with Paul Heyman, but was interrupted by fans who booed him near the entranceway. Reigns stopped and tried to intimidate the fans, but he felt it was better to just leave. The WWE Universe seems to be backing Jey Uso big time, which should make for a mega main event at SummerSlam if the two clash as expected. Next up, WWE's next Saudi Arabia show date revealed. I was wondering whether WWE is returning to Saudi Arabia. Well, the WWE held its Night of Champions event last May, and now Wrestlelamic's Brandon Thurston has reported that the next PLE will take place on 4th November. Survivor Series is scheduled for 25th November in Chicago. There's no word on which PLE will be held in Saudi Arabia, but Crown Jewel seems like a strong possibility. And finally, a popular WWE star wants to return. Last but not least, would former 3MB frontman Heath Slater ever return to WWE? Slater, who's been working in Impact Wrestling since his 2020 WWE release, discussed things during an appearance on the Eyes Up Here with Francine podcast. Slater explained how he's very happy working in Impact. He added that he worked in WWE from the age of 23 until his release, and he's 40 years old now. Nonetheless, he knows how well the WWE pays and commented, "I know if I can get another 3-year run, I could probably be set with them. I'm looking at 40 now. I've told myself I'm not going to go past 47, so if they ever offered, it's the biggest place in the world to perform at, and I was there for my whole career pretty much." Would you guys like to see Slater return? Let us know in the comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.